I'd like to thank you, FedNor, for being here. You play an extraordinarily important role in our region. I'd like to thank, at the beginning, the amazing work FedNor's done in the promotion of our regional mining innovation small business at the PDAC conference. I remember going to PDAC when Northern Ontario was, as my grandfather would say, down in the cellar behind the axe. And we have the best location in this biggest international mining festival in the world, and FedNor plays a huge part. So I want to thank you for that. I note that since 2010, FedNor supported $3.8 million in broadband funding. And rural broadband and economic development in our region, without rural broadband, we've got no ability to compete. But I've got all these letters from FedNor to various rural broadband agencies this year, since the new government came in, saying, unfortunately, the demand currently exceeds available funding, and FedNor will not be able to support your broadband projects. So is that a result of not having enough funding, or a decision to stop funding rural broadband through FedNor?
I would suggest, first, thank you for your kind comments about FedNor. We certainly believe we play a very important role in Northern Ontario. With respect to broadband, FedNor has historically been involved in broadband and has funded broadband development across Northern Ontario. This most recent year, the government announced a new broadband program, $500 million, that it is in the process of unveiling. It's important that FedNor take a step back and not duplicate the efforts of a pan-Canada program. And we have done so previously, and this is a reflection of what we're doing now. And so we had a number of broadband applications that we were in the process of reviewing and hopefully looking at making recommendations to support on. But as a result of the new broadband program coming on stream, we felt it was more prudent for us to pass those applications on to again, within my own department, for that consideration.
Thank you for that. I don't want to sound terse, I only have 5 minutes, but I guess what's shocking to me is that we had rural broadband projects with matching provincial funds, and we desperately need broadband. We need it now. But this Liberal government decided that they were going to take it over through a new program, and I'm looking at this new program, and it's not up and running till sometime in 2017. So we've lost 2 years in our communities in terms of economic development. And I would think it would have been better to leave our northern businesses with FedNor, because you were ready to deliver those funds this year, but that's not being delivered. So I want to just move on this. In 2009, FedNor had 120 employees. The last I saw, you were down to 80. Are those numbers still roughly the same?
Yes, they are. Our current count is, I believe, 81 employees.
Okay, and I'm looking over the overall broadband, or the FedNor funding over the last number of years. In the mid-2000s, we were getting $76, $68, $78 million a year. Are we down, did you say $31 million this year?
FedNor's base budget for its flagship program is $31.5 million, correct.
Right. And you say that 75% of the money's already allocated at the beginning of the year, so we're turning projects down. I think FedNor could do an extremely important role if it was a standalone agency, but it's always really difficult for us to find these numbers because FedNor is the poor cousin of all the other economic development agencies. If you were able to have the funding that you had in the 2000s, and even when the last Conservative government first came in before they started cutting the funds, would you be able to respond to many of these great projects that are not being funded right now?
Clearly, I mean, if we had an opportunity to receive additional resources, we would certainly look to then do more activity across Northern Ontario.
Okay,
we do within our current budget. We try to maximize as best as we can all the good project work that's going to bring the results to Northern Ontario.
Well, I guess this is what's concerning to me, because I meet really smart innovation ideas all the time, and we just, FedNor, and your staff are out on the ground, I can say that. But I noticed in 2013, 2014, $8.5 million out of FedNor's much more diminished budget wasn't spent in return to Treasury Board. Do you expect you'll spend all the money this year?
Absolutely. We have, over the last couple of years now, spent our full budget. The $8.5 million that you referred to that slipped in the fiscal year that you referred to resulted from two particular initiatives that we were hoping to launch during the fiscal year. that were delayed, and in one case, one was a broadband initiative, and the government of the day introduced a Pan-Canada broadband initiative, and so we were asked to step back. And so that resulted in a number of anticipated projects that we were hoping to fund that we were not able to. So that was the result. That resulted in the slippage. We were fortunate in the following year to receive an additional $3 million to offset some of that slippage in the next fiscal year.